Hey, together we can help end poverty for good.
Moonstone Minneapolis is a queer-owned, community-focused gift shop in South Minneapolis centered on curiosity, connection, and self-discovery. Explore astrology, tarot, crystals, herbs, mindfulness, and spiritual practices in a welcoming environment for all backgrounds and experience levels. Located at 3304 East Lake Street in Minneapolis, Moonstone Minneapolis also hosts makers markets, classes, and community events. Learn more at moonstoneMPLS.com and discover a welcoming place to explore with curiosity and respect. Greg Bakun here. I've been talking for a while about how spooky, fun, and fascinating the Minneapolis trolley tours are, but now there's big news. The Candlelight Ghost Tours now begin at the historic Pillsbury Club, a beautifully restored haunted mansion once owned by Charles Pillsbury himself. Believe it or not, the interior is nearly 200 years older than the exterior. How is that possible? You'll have to come out and find out. Before or after your tour, stop by the on-site market featuring a curated collection of handmade goods, artisan crafts, and locally inspired treasures. Perfect for picking up a keepsake to remember your haunting adventure. You'll also find exclusive spooky merchandise from Tales of the Crypt and Elvira. Then, climb aboard the climate-controlled trolley as we travel through Minneapolis' haunted hotspots, uncovering ghost stories that locals would rather keep buried. The mansion is restored to perfection, and there is no better way to spend an evening. Visit MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for tickets and more information.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for showers and storms tonight with a low around 66. Saturday, a chance for more rain with a high near 82. And Sunday, partly sunny with a high around 87. The Great Wall Restaurant brings classic Szechuan and Peking Mandarin dishes right to the Twin Cities, featuring favorites like pan-fried dumplings and fish fillet in ginger sauce. Stop by the Great Wall location at 4515 France Avenue South and browse their full extensive menu at greatwallrestaurant.us. That's greatwallrestaurant.us.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story, this is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun.
Casual Friday. Casual Friday. Casual Friday on GhostBox Radio.
And it is Casual Friday here in GhostBox Radio. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Our hope is to help you ease into the weekend, and hoping that takes place. It's a great time of year in Minnesota, and the last couple of days I've been helping out with the production for some of our live shows live out at the Minnesota State Fair that is going on right now. In fact, as it kind of inspired the question of the week that I invite you to answer. If you have not already done so, you can put it into the comments. If you are watching us on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun on Facebook or YouTube, or if you're watching us on AM 950 Radio on Facebook or YouTube. Question of the week: do any amusement parks or fairs give off a feeling of being haunted or strange energy to you? We've had people respond to it, so I wanted to put that up there now. And so the last couple days have been really interesting, and I want to just kind of talk about here for a second, and it might be the sunstroke talking, but I wanted to just kind of I'm in a place of gratitude at the moment. You think after working the last couple days at the fair, helping out the broadcast, and it's grueling work. And actually, I'm not kidding. We're moving stuff around both days, setting up, taking down. My partner in crime on this was actually our general manager, Mike McEntee, and we had a great couple days working with some great shows. and we were over at Robert Pilot's Native Roots trading post at the state fair. It is over in the West End Market. I want to just thank Robert for giving us the space as a station to set up there. He was so helpful. His daughter was so helpful. His son-in-law was so helpful, just making us feel welcome and making sure that we were set up. And I think that was something that was really just filled me with gratitude personally. I was very happy about that. It was great working with Matt, working on his show. That was a lot of fun, and we had some great laughs. He had some great guests on. All these shows are available on Spotify or YouTube, other places as well. I want to give a moment of thanks, though. I want to highlight the Gailey Show. And I want to do so because they have been really so good to us over here at GhostBox. Because if you remember a couple weeks back, we had author Alana Masad on. And she had this amazing conversation with us about aliens and some of the fiction work that she was writing that goes around it. The book was called Beings, Beings, and that was through John and Jim that we got that to work, because she appears monthly on the Gailey Show, and she is fabulous. But just prior to going out to the fair, we had a conversation, and John said to me, it seems a little unfair, and he didn't mean that like I was being not included. It just didn't make sense that the live shows, the weekly shows from AM 950, the weekday shows, we're going to have a presence at the state fair during this 2 to 6 hour block, but GhostBox did not. And I'm like, look, we're not going to be out there at 10 p.m. No one wants to be out there at 10 p.m. He goes, can you come on our show tomorrow and talk about if there's any sort of haunted state fair moments? And I'm like, absolutely, we can do that. And we had, I was on the last segment of their show on Thursday, and I just want to say, go and check it out, please. It was a lot of fun. We were able to have a laugh. And one of my favorite things is good banter back and forth. And I really felt we had it that night or that afternoon. And please check it out. Once again, Gailey Show from Thursday. It's on YouTube and Spotify. But listen to it every day, 2 to 3 on our station. It's all over the place. It's a great show. And I wanted to thank them for doing that and looking out for us, because anyone who has something that they really care about, like the way that I care about GhostBox and the way they care about Gailey, anyone who wants to give that a little bit of extra attention, I think it's so wonderful. And it means the world to me that someone thought of our show, our little 10 p.m. show, and was like, you know what? We want you to have a presence there on that day. And that was at the state fair. And that meant a lot to me. So I just wanted to make sure that I thanked them for it, because that was really cool. Meanwhile, in Prairie, we have Adam. How are you doing?
Doing well tonight, sir. Didn't get nearly as much sun as you got. I saw you when you came in earlier, and boy, you're not as pasty as you used to be.
I have so much sun that there's none left for anyone else. That's how that works. So
you're the reason we don't have daylight savings anymore. You took all the daylight.
Exactly. It's all gone. It's all gone. So it was a lot, and it wasn't as bad today, oddly enough. Yesterday it was very sunny all day, and I could just feel my scalp on fire. On the bus, the park and ride bus back, it felt like that I was, getting kind of sick. Even Matt McNeil, he was out with 3 p.m. to 5 yesterday. He comes in today. He's like, yeah, yesterday I think I had sunstroke. That was horrible. And it's like, I think I did too. And it was just what it is. And all that is it's not a product of us going out there and doing the fair. All this is avoidable. It's me not taking care of myself. Like Mike came up to me a number of times yesterday while I was running the board and the computer from our location at the Native Roots trading post. and he'd be like, do you want me to get you some food? Do you want me to get you water? I took him up on the water, but I didn't take him up on the food. So all that's on me. But still, it was just like you on the bus ride home. It's like, why is everything spinning? So whatever. That's okay. That's how it works.
Okay, so apparently you were taking the Tom Wolfe bus then, if everything's
right,
spinning
right.
on the bus.
Or Tom Lair, more like Tom Lair, if you ask me. But
Yeah, there you go.
so
I was going more with electric Kool-Aid acid test.
oh, sure. So I want to take a moment here and hand the show over to our very capable Adam, as this week for a lot of us was tough for a lot of reasons. For when we're talking about celebrity deaths, but I know, Adam, that one really was very affected you quite a bit, and since I know how much you really appreciated this person, I thought I would allow you to kind of talk about it a little bit and be able maybe to share with our listeners the sadness of it all.
Yeah, on Tuesday and Wednesday, we lost both Dolly Parton, who she wrote hundreds of songs, hundreds of hits, not only for other people, but of course she had the hits for herself.
Mm-hmm.
And then we lost probably my favorite actor. And no, it wasn't Kevin Smith, for anyone who listens to the show. Tim Curry also passed away this week.
Yeah.
Tim Curry is that actor that I didn't realize until I was a little bit older had been in my life pretty much from when I started watching movies. My first introduction to him, honestly, was Legend. My mom's dead, so you can yell at her for taking a 5-year-old to go see that in the theaters. But that was my first real introduction to him. And obviously he's dressed as the devil and has all that red makeup on, but he could just convey through all that makeup, just even make him scarier.
Mm-hmm.
And then, there was Annie. He played Rooster in Annie. I saw that one a little bit later on. Again, another bad guy. Of course, he was, to me, the only Pennywise in Stephen King's It from the 1990 miniseries. And as much as he played all these villains, he gave them so much extra life. And then you kind of go and you look at some of his interviews, or you get to see some of his interviews, and what he was in real life, though, as he's a big screen villain. Everybody knows that, from Mr. Body and Clue to even Dr. Frankenfurter and Rocky Horror. But watching and reading some of his interviews, he said something to me that always kind of stuck out. He's like, I did this to show that the misfits, the outcasts, the freaks, we can all do this. And he was right.
Mm-hmm.
We can all do this. We're not put into a box because of where we were born or our parental situations or whatever happens in our early life. Everybody wants to put you in this box. And he was able to get out of that box and show that anyone around the world can get out of that box you've been put in and let your freak flag fly and become a star, become the person you want to be.
Yeah.
And, that spoke not only in his work in film, but also when you would listen to him speak, even after the stroke, when he would speak, the message stayed the same. And I have so much love and respect for that actor, literally the actor I grew up watching.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
to me, he will definitely be, that one hurt. That one definitely hurts. There's only been a couple of celebrity deaths that have hurt. Tim Curry hurt a lot. Princess Leia hurt a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And Kurt Cobain. Those are the three in my life that have really, really hurt. And this one is, I can trace back really the furthest in my life. And it is tough losing this.
And to your point, and I'm going to take a leap here, Adam. I think you were like me in the fact that we were not popular. We were not, we were just trying to be ourselves, and at a young age of, really 10 to teenage years, apparently just trying to be yourself isn't good enough or whatever else. And you get somebody like Tim Curry, as you said, who is just like, I'm championing you actually for by the roles that I'm playing, and that this is something that we don't, that everyone can have great roles and we can be accepted. And because I mean that's, outside the fact, that's that when you said that, it's like this is kind of what Tim Curry is, because he played those roles, but it's very clearly he was born to play those roles based on how people perceived him.
Oh, absolutely. He's just absolutely a wonderful person all the way around from everything I could gather.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. And for me, I think one that I've had, I keep going back to as far as a celebrity death, because every time I watch something with him in it, I can hear myself saying to the TV screen, you know, you do know you're missed, right? And that's Anthony Bourdain.
Mhm.
Just very sad. Everything around this is very sad, and somebody who found extraordinary fame in his late 40s, and in my opinion, had done I love good interviews, and he was able to just not do an interview, but have a conversation. And it seemed like he excelled more at conversations with basically the everyday person, opposed to, just some kind of celebrity, when he's doing no reservations. So I know this isn't about Anthony Bourdain, but I wanted to kind of share my perspective. And isn't it crazy, Adam, that, like you said, these people have been with us. We have known about them almost as long as our own parents. I think about like Dolly Parton, and I'm so sad that she had passed. I was never like a massive fan, but I appreciated her. I appreciated what she tried to do. But I mean, I remember like my parents listening to country western and listening to her music. And then when, during the 80s, she would have the Dolly Parton show or whatever it
Mhm.
was. And she was always there.
Yeah.
There's some, and then suddenly now here we are, and these people that we've grown up with, they're dying.
Yep. Our childhood is slowly dying in front of us.
And I remember my mom, every time like a celebrity or someone that she really appreciated in her youth would show up on a TV show, and they'd had aged to her for her, she just couldn't believe it. And I don't really do that sort of thing myself, because I understand that people get older, but yet I can understand kind of that reverse psychosis of getting older, therefore I'm getting older, and it's just
Yep.
like when they start passing away, it's like, my gosh, pretty much everyone who's older in that stratosphere, they're all going to be gone by the time I get to their age, sort of thing.
Yeah, that's why when we do things like Twin Cities Con or Des Moines Con or something like that, there's always that one or two where it's like, if my wife's hanging around, it's like, you should probably go grab this autograph. We don't know how much longer they're going to be around.
I mean, yeah, there's always that. And it's sometimes, you look at someone like Shatner, who, he's 95,
Mhm.
and he's still doing all these. And I've always thought, in my opinion, that, when you see like a Shatner, or you see Paul McCartney or Ringo Starr for that matter, they're keeping. I've never seen anyone like their busyness has been like just made so much faster. Like they're really accelerating how much they put on. I feel like they're almost trying to run away from the inevitable sometimes.
Yeah, it's like the Rolling Stones just put out a new album,
It did.
and it's great. It's a
That's what it
great
is.
album, and you're like, Keith Richards, man, how much longer can you do this? You've already
Yeah.
beaten brain cancer. Mick had some health issues as well. It's like, how long can you guys keep going? But they're gonna keep putting them out. I'm gonna keep listening.
Absolutely. And I'm a big Beatles fan, and like Paul had put out both Paul and Ringo had put out albums recently, and even right before the most recent Ringo, there was the Ringo Starr country album that came out. But Paul did a recent one, and it's like, all he has to do is just do good music, and it's one of his best albums in years. It's simply incredible.
Yeah, I wish I had like half of that talent that those guys have had.
Oh gosh, even just a pinky of it. I mean,
Yeah.
absolutely incredible. I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine what it must be like to be like a Paul McCartney, and how you're just how you can stay in control, I guess.
Or
Of
roll out of bed and write a hit single.
right. Well, and I know we need to get to break here in a second. If you've ever watched Get Back, the Disney Peter Jackson
Mhm.
75,000 hour miniseries, there's a point when John is late, but you have George, Ringo, and Paul. And George and Ringo are talking, and Paul is just moving back and forth, and he's just like something is trying to escape him, and it's just like really kind of like possession almost. And he starts coming up with a melody, and he just starts doing it, and eventually what you realize is coming out of his mind right there, we're watching it right there, is he's creating and writing Get Back.
Yeah.
And eventually George picks up a guitar, and he starts kind of playing along, and it's just like, this is like precious footage. It's one of my favorite Beatles songs, and it's literally trying to escape him. It's just incredible. What talent.
Yeah, to even have that, even just a little bit of it. I just even a day of having that talent, I would love to know what that was like.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So folks, we want to talk paranormal, because we do still do that around here. But by the way, Adam, thank you for that about Tim Curry. I think that was very important. So I
Thank you.
appreciate that. Question of the week: do any amusement parks or fairs give off a feeling of being haunted or strange energy to you? Put in the comments, or if you want to, you're more than welcome to give us a call. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205, as long as all the phones aren't busy or whatever else tonight. You never know. But we'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll do question of the week, and we'll talk about some other stuff as well. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Greg Bakun here. It's nice to get out of the Twin Cities and take some travel excursion to some great locations. Minnesota has so much to offer, which is why I love traveling down to Wabasha and staying at the historic Anderson House Hotel. Opened in 1856, this beautiful hotel offers comfortable accommodations, has a delicious restaurant, and even a speakeasy in the basement to unwind with a drink. Located next to the Mississippi River and on Main Street, there is a lot of sightseeing and shopping to do too. To get more information, go to theandersonhousehotel.com. Moonstone Minneapolis is a queer-owned, community-focused gift shop in South Minneapolis centered on curiosity, connection, and self-discovery. Explore astrology, tarot, crystals, herbs, mindfulness, and spiritual practices in a welcoming environment for all backgrounds and experience levels. Located at 3304 East Lake Street in Minneapolis, Moonstone Minneapolis also hosts makers markets, classes, and community events. Learn more at moonstonempls.com and discover a welcoming place to explore with curiosity and respect. Greg Bakun here. I've been talking for a while about how spooky, fun, and fascinating the Minneapolis trolley tours are, but now there's big news. The Candlelight Ghost Tours now begin at the historic Pillsbury Club, a beautifully restored haunted mansion once owned by Charles Pillsbury himself. Believe it or not, the interior is nearly 200 years older than the exterior. How is that possible? You'll have to come out and find out. Before or after your tour, stop by the on-site market featuring a curated collection of handmade goods, artisan crafts, and locally inspired treasures. Perfect for picking up a keepsake to remember your haunting adventure. You'll also find exclusive spooky merchandise from Tales of the Crypt and Elvira. Then, climb aboard the climate-controlled trolley as we travel through Minneapolis' haunted hotspots, uncovering ghost stories that locals would rather keep buried. The mansion is restored to perfection, and there is no better way to spend an evening. Visit MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for tickets and more information. It's that time of year where the weather is getting nice, and it's time to get out of the house for some family fun. Lily Putt is open for the season, and you know what that means. Lily Putt is known for its mini golf, go-karts, glow golf, jump pads, kiddie carts, gem mining, and even a new arcade. Lilliput also has interactive and engaging escape rooms like the Haunted Mansion, the Bunker, or Night of the Wolf. Lilliput is perfect for parties and group events. Stop by lilliput.net for more information and hours of operation. Greg Bakun here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
Casual Friday. Casual Friday. Casual Friday on GhostBox Radio.
And it is Casual Friday here in GhostBox Radio, as hopefully we help you ease into the weekend. I hope everyone had a good week. I hope that everyone has some great weekend plans. If it's the state fair or whatever else you want it to be, I do want to say that this weekend, tomorrow, in fact, August 29th, I am going to be alongside paranormal investigator Shar Savoy. We are going to be over at the Swenson Family Farm Museum that is over by Montevideo. We're doing this incredible investigation of both the house as well as the barn, as well as some of the grounds. It is truly incredible. It starts tomorrow at 7 p.m. Cost is $80 a person, and this money goes back into the preservation of the grounds. This place is owned by the Chippewa County, Minnesota Historical Society, and you get over to this place. We have, and we're not promising anything. We never promise anything, but we have, had great spirit activity. We've had some stuff that's kind of bizarre when it comes to possibly aliens, stuff that is pretty incredible when it comes to Bigfoot, all in this location. And we're doing this tomorrow. We are one of the only paranormal teams allowed to do actual investigations of this location. We're very excited about it. To get tickets, you can call 320-269-7636. That's 320-269-7636. You can email chippewahistorical@gmail.com, or you just go over to the Chippewa County, Minnesota Historical Society Facebook page. They have a QR code that you go and you can pay for your investigation through that. It's a lot of fun. It is a great investigation. Adam, I'm trying to remember, did I ever tell this story about the apple on the air?
Ooh, I don't know if you told it on the air. I know you've told me and you told Andra when she was here last time, but I'm not 100% sure if that was on the air.
Should I try it? Should I try it and see if people stop me?
Absolutely, because that's a phenomenal story.
So I believe that there's alien influence on these lands, and the barn I'm talking about is massive. It is beautiful. It is massive. Both the house and the barn is built by a gentleman by the name of Olaf Swenson and his daughter. Those two have built these beautiful buildings. And I went out there, and we were out there for an event. And the thing is, oh, by the way, thank you, Adam, for putting all that information into the comments. I really do appreciate it. So I walk out of the barn, and I see some light anomalies. I think I'm seeing some light anomalies, or I'm having a stroke. It's one of the two. And I wouldn't discount either. And one of the younger guys who were taking part in the event, they're out there, and I said, are you seeing the lights out there? And the kid was like, no, I don't see it. And that's totally fine. I said, I just feel like there might be some UFO stuff going on, in this land, in these areas. And the kid looks at me and he's like, UFO? What, unidentified flying objects? That's such a silly name for them. UFOs. It's like an apple hits you on the head And that's suddenly like a UFO because you don't, which makes no sense because you can identify an apple, but whatever. He's going on about it. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. And so my friend Austin, who was helping with the investigation, he's like, well, I'm going to go over far to the front of the grounds, and I'm going to go visit the family cemetery out there. And the kid's like, oh, can I come? And he's like, absolutely. So they go out there, and they're out there for a bit, and we're over in the house at this point. And the kid in Austin comes back, and I'm like to the kid, I'm like, how was it? Oh, it's fine. It's fine. Totally fine. Okay. And I talked to Austin afterwards. I said, how was it? He goes, oh, it was fine. But there's some coyotes that the kid was kind of getting a little scared about and kind of had to calm him down. It's like, I don't blame him. He goes, something really weird happened. I'm like, what's that? He was hit on the head with an apple. And I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah, he was hit on the head with an apple, and there's no apple trees around there. And I said to him, I'm like, I told him the story afterwards, and he's just like, he couldn't believe it. It was pretty phenomenal, actually. That was great.
Well, it is the Swinton family farm, and as we could tell by the casual Friday that we had out there, you never know who's listening to you when you're in a haunted location.
So as we are talking about such things, this is once again where we're broadcasting from the Swenson family farm. Adam is back at the station. Shar and I are on the air because we had our friend Paul talk about the history and kind of the stuff he was saying took us off the air. And as soon as we apologized to Olaf, we came back on the air. But as Shar was saying, what a beautiful location this is, and talking about what was used to build the house and talking about the wood, an EVP comes through that neither Shar nor myself picked up, but Adam heard it, and he told us about it while we're on the air. And then we went back and we heard it, and I want to play that for you right now because I think this is one of the coolest things that ever happened on GhostBox.
This house is 122 years old. At least, yeah. And it's solid. Yeah. It doesn't creak. It's not sloped. It's like this house is 122 years old. At least, yeah. And it's solid. Yeah. It doesn't creak. It's not sloped. It's like
okay, so we played this before a number of times. You can hear a voice very clearly say oak. But Adam, I want you to listen again because there's a moment it's oak and Shar says a little bit more, and there's another voice that kind of that I don't know if I completely buy it, but I want you to hear it, and I'm going to play it again.
This house is 122 years old. At least, yeah. And it's solid. Yeah. It doesn't creak. It's not sloped. It's like.
You hear that?
Yeah, that
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. And I can't tell if it's him agreeing or if he's trying to say something else.
Absolutely. John says, oak? Sure is. It sure is, John. Yeah, and I think, yeah, that's incredible. It's when you get that and you get other things that happen at this farm, I just like, I love what I do. You know what I mean? Like, come on, this is and really we're invited to do this? Okay, yeah, sure. Okay.
Yeah, and obviously they're listening.
Yes. Olaf is listening. Olaf is
for sure.
He's on a different level than just about any other spirit that we've encountered. And I mean, it's something, especially Shar, she is absolutely enamored with breaking the code with him. And I think she's done a very good job. It is not my story to get into that, but she's doing a great job. So I just wanted to kind of make sure that we talk about this. And there is tomorrow's event And then we're doing one on the 26th of September. So if you want more information on that, we'll get it. But because once again, I cannot stress enough, the money that is made off of this does not go to Shar and myself. It goes back into the preservation of the home and the barn, and it's very worth it. You go out there, you look at the place, the whole top floor of the house is a chapel. Okay. And when we did, it was just Paul, Shar, and myself, and we were up there for about 45 minutes doing an experiment up there to try to get some responses and talk to Olaf. At one point, a couple things. First of all, I had a REM pod up at the altar, and I was just going to go to turn off the lights. Every time I got near the altar, the REM pod went off. Until I'm just like, Olaf, may I please have permission to come to the altar to turn off the light? After I did that, I went up and turned off the light. The REM pod did not go off.
Oh, that's cool.
And then we were talking about stuff, and we asked Olaf if he wanted, if I remember correctly, something along the lines of, Olaf, do you want to come up to the pulpit and talk? All three of us heard footsteps walking up to the pulpit.
That is cool.
It's amazing.
He was the Reverend. Would that have been his proper title?
Pastor. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was pastor there. It was his house, his church.
And I think what people, if you grew up in the area, I think people would look at what Olaf was doing as kind of, he was a crank, because that was a time period. He was ahead of his time. Now he wouldn't, and now I think we'd be much more accepting about what he was trying to create. And he was a master of everything. I mean, there wasn't anything that was currently happening in his life in that time period that it didn't catch his interest and he wanted to master. He was just, he was just full of gifts. He was just so impressive.
Sounds like he was the Renaissance man of Minnesota back in the time period.
He was. And so when I talked to some people around the town about it, I won't really name names, they kind of talked about him as just like, history was always that, he's just kind of a crank. And I think they kind of felt it too, because that was a story passed down for generations. But we're looking at it with fresh eyes and are like, actually, this guy was probably alive in the wrong period of time for him to be appreciated the way he should have been.
Yeah.
So.
And it seems we get that with almost every haunted location. Every house, every building has a story that a lot of times is just town lore that really has nothing to do with the individuals who actually dwelled within those premises.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I know you and I talk about it all the time. It's like how many places, like one famous person stayed there once, but they're the ones who haunt the location type deal.
Every time.
Or it's like every place wants that Anne Boleyn story, even though it's really never the case.
Or Hamilton in New York City. When I went out to New York City, he was at like 3. Did you hear that?
No.
It sounded like something moved.
No, I did not hear that.
We are at 3822. Okay.
All right.
So, but in New York City, Hamilton was everywhere. He was haunting everything. So that was like, okay. And speaking of stuff moving, one of my favorite pieces of recordings from the Swenson family farm was our friend AJ, who left an audio recorder upstairs in the chapel all night. We're set to, if noises come, it will turn on and record.
Mm-hmm.
So we're downstairs. So anything that's going on upstairs, we're going to hear, because we've heard a lot of stuff. We're slept through the night, nothing going on upstairs. AJ plays back his recording, and the whole thing is nothing but like pews being moved around upstairs, just being dragged, like almost like chains being moved. Just all of this stuff that is just like, and it's not like once or twice, it's continuous, absolutely continuous. There's no way that was happening upstairs without us knowing. It's just incredible.
That is neat.
Yeah. Just incredible.
That's why this field is so amazing.
Right? I mean, it is not something you get into. It's a privilege to be a part of.
I don't know if I could have said it any better.
It's not about, if you want to go to the scary locations, knock yourself out. This is not a scary location. This is a place for investigators to learn different types of spirit energies and also other types of energies, to really hone your own skills. And that's the thing that is so wonderful about this place. It's just off the charts. I love it. Just love it. So, all right. So we didn't get to question of the week quite yet. Why don't we go ahead? Let's take a break, because as some folks have put into the comments as well, I want to get to that. So the question of the week, once again, is, as I take it down instead of putting it back up, do any amusement parks or fairs give off a feeling of being haunted or strange energy to you? We're going to get to some answers here. Folks, don't go away. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950.
Greg Bakun here. It's nice to get out of the Twin Cities and take some travel excursion to some great locations. Minnesota has so much to offer, which is why I love traveling down to Wabasha and staying at the historic Anderson House Hotel. Opened in 1856, this beautiful hotel offers comfortable accommodations, has a delicious restaurant, and even a speakeasy in the basement to unwind with a drink. Located next to the Mississippi River and on Main Street, there is a lot of sightseeing and shopping to do too. To get more information, go to the AndersonHouseHotel.com. Looking for something different for family fun, a night out with friends, or your next team building event? Try the escape rooms at Lilliput. Step into the Haunted Mansion, race to find a cure in the bunker, or survive Night of the Wolf, all with just 60 minutes to escape. It's private, immersive, and perfect for groups of all kinds. Book your adventure now, spots fill fast. Visit lilliput.net and see if your team has what it takes to escape. Greg Bakun here. I've been talking for a while about how spooky, fun, and fascinating the Minneapolis trolley tours are, but now there's big news. The Candlelight Ghost Tours now begin at the historic Pillsbury Club, a beautifully restored haunted mansion once owned by Charles Pillsbury himself. Believe it or not, the interior is nearly 200 years older than the exterior. How is that possible? You'll have to come out and find out. Before or after your tour, stop by the on-site market featuring a curated collection of handmade goods, artisan crafts, and locally inspired treasures. Perfect for picking up a keepsake to remember your haunting adventure. You'll also find exclusive spooky merchandise from Tales of the Crypt and Elvira. Then, climb aboard the climate-controlled trolley as we travel through Minneapolis' haunted hotspots, uncovering ghost stories that locals would rather keep buried. The mansion is restored to perfection, and there is no better way to spend an evening. Visit MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for tickets and more information. Moonstone Minneapolis is a queer-owned community-focused gift shop in South Minneapolis centered on curiosity, connection, and self-discovery. Explore astrology, tarot, crystals, herbs, mindfulness, and spiritual practices in a welcoming environment for all backgrounds and experience levels. Located at 3304 East Lake Street in Minneapolis, Moonstone Minneapolis also hosts makers markets, classes, and community events. Learn more at moonstoneMPLS.com and discover a welcoming place to explore with curiosity and respect. Greg Bakun here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com.
Casual Friday. Casual Friday. Casual Friday on GhostBox Radio.
And it is Casual Friday here as we ease you into the weekend. I hope that you had a great week. I hope you have some really fun things to do this weekend. Join me Monday on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun. We're going to have on author Doug Owen. We're going to be talking about his newest book, The Unholy Silence. This is going to be good. So be around, check that out. If you can't listen to it live, don't forget they're always available on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, whatever you want. It's always out there. And especially, I just redid a couple months ago my entire YouTube page. So things are laid out so that you can easily watch. And just say that you want to watch a bunch of Casual Fridays, you can find them all together as well. So, I mean, it's really fun. And I'm really looking forward to this conversation we're going to have on Monday with author Doug Owen. Question of the week: do any amusement parks or fairs give off a feeling of being haunted or strange energy to you? Adam, I believe I saw that you had answered the question.
Yeah, back in my late teens, we used to go to the Shelby County Fair in Shelbyville a couple of nights, and we'd make sure we go there at night, catch a couple of the bands, and they would have some races. I can't remember what kind of car it was, but they would do some like car races. I don't remember if they were called Funny Car or Figure Eight or something like that. But once all the music and the racing was done, that place got like deathly quiet, and it was not well lit at all. And you felt like you were walking through like Chernobyl, really.
Wow.
Because they've got that huge fairground in Chernobyl that obviously nobody can use anymore. And if you watch that HBO series a few years ago, that's kind of what it felt like walking through, because no rides were going, nothing like that. It was just eerie.
Oh, yeah. No, it sounds like it. Well, that's it. That's a good one. Bruce had said, because do any amusement parks or fairs give off a feeling of being haunted or strange energy to you? Bruce had said, this is great. Wizard of Oz theme park in North Carolina. Very creepy from pics I've seen. I've seen those pics too. Wouldn't be surprised if it was haunted. And that was built in the like mid to late 70s, and it's barely held on somehow with a lot of change. But you look at the pictures and you're just like, the wonderful land of Oz, it looks like a no-go for me. That place looks absolutely just really nasty. More like Return to Oz than Wizard of Oz, if you ask me. You know?
And they wonder why Gen X is so messed up.
Yeah, that. Well, gosh, okay. I know we're kind of going all over the place here, but this is also important. This one, I think, actually may have snuck through a little bit with everything else going on here. I had only just realized just 2 days ago that Peter Cullen had passed away.
Yes, Optimus Prime is gone now too.
I mean, so I just, once again, my, and the fact that he was so good that he used him in the Transformer movies of the 2000s.
Those of us who like Transformers Generation 1 do not recognize the Michael Bay movies, but yeah.
I mean, I don't either. I've never seen one. You
ain't missing much.
And I'm not in the mood to watch Transformers the movie from 1986 at the moment.
That is a brilliant flick, sir. I have that on DVD.
I like it too, but a lot of friends died in that one. So,
yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
So that's the only reason. Okay, question of the week. Do any amusement parks or fairs give off a feeling of being haunted or strange energy to you? Lauren says, always. So many emotions in places like this, it leaves an imprint. That is such a great point. I wasn't even thinking about that when I asked the question. That's right. There's so much energy there. How could there not be something? Whether it's not, it doesn't even matter, Adam. I don't think if people are dead, we're talking about that energy imprint. We're talking about that residual energy. That's brilliant.
I like that one because I'm one of those who believe that you could still haunt a place residually while you are alive.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's research that we're also ongoing with as well. And someday we'll get into that a little bit more, that Shar and I have been looking into and getting some feedback and help from people. And says, as far as weird vibes from amusement parks or whatnot, she says, no, nothing I can remember, but soon people will say Dollywood is now after the loss of sweet Miss Dolly. But this is the weird part. She goes, but she will not be there. I think she'd be in a recording studio or a stage. Aubrey, who has been on our show talking about Disneyland, she says they can be many places. Of course she'll be there. I would agree with, I mean, thank you, Anne, for the response. And that's what I love is we all have different takes. Personally, for me, I think Aubrey is absolutely right. And I don't see how she loved Dollywood. She loved it. So I don't know. Aubrey says, and once again, the question of the week is, do any amusement parks or fairs give off a feeling of being haunted or strange energy to you? Aubrey, who was on talking about Disneyland, she says, absolutely. There are extremely haunted. Spirits haunt the places they love the most in life. That's a great point as well. Here at the Santa Cruz Boardwalk, there's tons of spirits. Some did die on property, but majority of them just love being there. And then Crystal Psychic, who you know very well, says a few times we thought I watched too many Scooby-Doo when I was younger. Fair enough. There's always something creepy there. Jennifer says Disneyland gives me the creeps. You know what? Also, I think Epcot would be interesting, and maybe not for spirits per se, but I do think like we're talking about those liminal spaces.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, because there's so many buildings that were meant to be the future. I bet there's a lot of liminal spaces in Epcot.
Oh, I'm sure. And one that I totally forgot about, but creeped me out as a kid, Kings Island, Cincinnati.
I've been there.
That entire place was just creepy.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, and what I want to do real fast is I want to talk about some of the ghost stories we found for the state fair that's going on, the Minnesota State Fair.
Yeah, that would be, there's gotta be. I mean, the place is so old, especially those barns.
Well, so this is the one, in the grandstand.
Yeah.
So there's the grandstand ghost. People have reported seeing a man standing on the roof of the grandstand, sometimes described as a young blonde man with a mustache, which is why I'm like, Jim, that's Jim Pounds. That's all about you, isn't it? He's like, yes, it is. This is especially interesting because the grandstand area has a generally tragic history. At least 8 race drivers and thrill show performers died in the events there. One was wing walker Kitty Middleton, killed with pilot Don Love when their plane crashed near the grandstand in 1951. So that's 75 years ago. State Fair archivist Carrie Huber has suggested the rooftop figure could represent one of the daredevils who died there. I mean, it's very possible.
Mm-hmm.
So then you have the dancing ghost, the cattle barn. According to Huber, a Coliseum employee was playing music in the cattle barn when 3 people suddenly appeared dancing, even though no one else was supposed to be around. One was reportedly wearing overalls. Even better, the song playing was Elvira by the Oak Ridge Boys. Yeah, right? Then you have, let's see here, how much time we have. We can do more. You have Douglas Baldwin in the administration building. Baldwin was the longtime State Fair general manager and actually lived on the fairgrounds in an apartment near what became the State Fair archives. He died in 1962. Employees have attributed unexplained activity in the administration building to Baldwin, especially the old boss may still be checking up on the place. Now, you've also heard of Spider Pig on The Simpsons. The State Fair has the Phantom Pig. Now, here's the interesting part, Adam, okay?
This one wears the masks? Is the Phantom of the Barn?
So I'm reading this yesterday, which is there is longstanding folklore about Ghost Pig in the livestock swine bar. Paranormal researcher Chad Lewis, who I know, said people had contacted him claiming they saw a pig that disappeared when they turned to look at it directly. An older Minnesota Daily account also records the Phantom Pig legend, although Lewis apparently couldn't locate direct witnesses when investigating it. When I was reading that, I could hear a pig squeal. And it's on. So yesterday on Gailey Show, I'm reading, I'm like, do you hear a pig squealing? And John's like, yes, I do. Now you're like, well, you're at the State Fair. Fair enough. But we were nowhere near animals.
No, you guys are over by the West End, right?
Yeah, at West End Market, absolutely.
Yeah, that barn's on the other side.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I'm not quite sure.
That is neat.
Yeah, that
I
was.
have heard of the Phantom Pig. I had heard of that
Oh, you
one,
have
and
heard of that.
the barn dancers.
I've not heard of the barn. Now, have you heard of the ghost bird at Ye Old Mill?
No, I have not.
So, I mean, this is definitely one of those places that you'd expect there to be apparition sightings, because Ye Old Mill goes back to like what, 1912 or something like that. Another legend involves a mysterious bird, and variously described as crow, raven, or small brown bird, associated with the old mill. One version claims it's the reincarnation spirit of former fair employee. Okay, you're kind of starting to lose me. This one is much more firmly in the folklore category than the employee stories. Yeah. Because that one's going to be a little bit harder for me. I'm just going to be honest about that.
I think there was a comic book series called The Crow that was about.
Well, and yeah. Where does Charlotte's Web fit into all this?
That's no kidding. Or Stuart Little's running around here somewhere.
Yeah. I don't know. That's kind of fun. And that's the thing. And the archivist that we were talking about here, Carrie Huber, she was supposed to be on the show a couple years ago and kind of fell through. And every time I remember to ask her to come on the show is around state fair time. And she's literally like, are you kidding me? Like, hey, do you want to come on the show as the state fair is about to start? And she's just like, I'm going to be busy. I'm going to be very busy. I don't have time for you. And I don't mean it like she's being rude. She's just like, come on, dude. It's state fair is starting.
We need to do this in January.
We really do. And then play it, and then play it again as we get closer to the fairs. So, yeah, very fun, very cool stuff. Make sure you get out to the fair, folks. It's a lot of fun. Some good food. Been trying it. Keep your eye open for apparitions. I mean, how could you possibly see it with 150,000 people out there every day? With that being said, tomorrow, Swenson Family Farm. I'm going to be back on Monday talking with author Doug Owen about the unholy silence. What a great week. Thank you all for listening. Thank you, Adam, for everything you do. We're going to be back Monday. Everyone have a restful weekend and take care.
It's Brad Friedman, host of the Bradcast, weeknights